Hi, this is Stephen Frew. We've been looking in a series of podcasts. We're developing podcasts around two basic areas. One comes from an invitation that I received from Coach Tommy Costello to speak to his young elite athletes. And we did that, and I'll talk about that a little bit. Tommy's a treasure in our time. He's a wonderful young man. And the other comes from a project I'm working on to provide a kind of a coat rack for couples who are interested in longevity in their relationship. Not all couples are. Some couples are. And we've developed a way of talking about longevity that actually prompts and invites couples to deepen their relationship over time, and that deepening and expanding of intimacy and intimate connections, that does not end with your children leaving home or with retirement or something like that. It doesn't even end with getting older and losing some of your capacity to see, hear, or remember. The philosophy that I bring to both of these conversations is that change always happens. It's going on all the time in all of our lives, in the universe, in the planet, in our families, in our businesses. Change is something that you can count on happening. Now, what you do with change is what's critical in your life. Because if you're change adverse, then what you're doing is saying, well, we've always done it that way. Or you're saying, that coach doesn't know what he's talking about. Or you're saying, I'm too tired. You're saying a lot of defensive and explanations, defending and explaining yourself. And you're not listening to the other, the music of change. You're not listening to it. You're not tuning in. And therefore, you're not embracing it, and you're not utilizing it for your own deepening and growth in relationship, for your own relationship. If you're an elite athlete, if you're not noticing that within yourself, then what's going on is you tend to be robotic. You tend to go towards injuries. You tend to go to lack of success. Some people can succeed that way, but most of us can't. We have to embrace change. We have to tune in to what's changing within as well as what's changing outside. If you're a baseball player, what's changing in the baseball world? It's always changing. If you're trying to get a college scholarship, that university is doing baseball this year differently than they did it last year. You need to tune in to what's going on, okay? So one of the ways to get to that conversation is, if you can stay with me a second, most change is acknowledged through conflict. We only see it when we have to or when we need to see it. Conflict could be something like illness or injury. Conflict can be something like financial mess-ups, financial disarray, chaos. Conflict can be a lot of things. In relationship, we all know something that we have conflict. A lot of the conflict we have in relationship is chronic. It's repetitive because we don't get to have a new angle on it. So what would we need to have successful conflict in a relationship? And what would we need to have successful conflict in being an elite athlete and staying with the work with the coaches and deepening the work with the coaches? That would be a good podcast for us to do. We'll do a little bit of it now, and then the next podcast we'll do even more. Here's a couple questions we use in corporate consulting. When I have the leadership team in a room, I ask myself, who do they think I am? Then I ask myself, who do I want to be for them? Then I ask myself, what are they most afraid of? And then I ask myself, what do they most want? Notice I'm saying myself, because I want to imagine who's in the room. I want to get a sense of where they are if we're going to work together. Not only where I am, with what I have to say and what I want to see happen. I can easily do that. What I can't so easily do is be empathic, because I come from a history from a family that wasn't very empathic. I didn't get to see a lot of genuine empathy. I got to see some superficial empathy. How you doing today? Oh, I'm sorry you're sick. That kind of thing. We did that. But the empathy I'm talking about is taking it down, in and down. So if I'm in the room with the corporate leadership team, what I'm saying is, who is here? And what are they most afraid of? And what do they most want? And so forth. Now, if I'm with an athlete, and I coach several elite athletes, if I'm with them, I'm having to ask questions that are very close to that. What is he most afraid of? Can he define that? Or she? But mostly I coach males. What is he most afraid of? What does he most want? And why does he want it? And who does he think he is? And who do I want to be for him? Now, those questions are related to the changes that are coming, that are always coming, both in relationships and in athletics, because that opens the intelligence, the inner consciousness of the athlete, and it's more valuable than just a repetitive coaching. It's making the athlete really embrace the work at a level that's very close to the who am I question. And we want the athletes to be asking themselves every single day, who am I really? What am I doing here? Why am I doing it? That. Because there's power there. There's not much power in robotics. You can be robotic and you can repeat what other people tell you to do, but it's not yours. You haven't owned it. So, last thing, when we'll finish this up. When a couple says, well, Stephen, we're working on our relationship, but, it's not easy. I say, yeah, well, I just established with my wife, we're going to have a date night every Tuesday night. And we're going to go out, we're going to go to a restaurant or go to a movie or do this or that and really work on our relationship. So I say, well, that's good. Well, you don't sound very enthusiastic, Stephen. I said, well, I'm not. Because a date night can be as robotic as anything else, like sex, or how you eat, or how you go to work, or how you talk to your children. Hey, I'm home. How's everybody? How was school today? Robotics are easy, and they're part of us. What's more difficult and is about consciousness is to say, if I'm going to go out with you on Tuesday night, what is it that I bring to that experience, those couple of hours? What is it that I need? Who do I think you are? And who do I want to be with you? You can ask those questions and open up consciousness within yourself. This is Stephen Frew. We'll return to this subject in the next podcast.